At around 5:30 in the morning, Brandy was asleep when she suddenly woke up to the sound of whispering right beside her bed. At first, she thought she must have dreamed it, but something about the feeling in the room made her grab her phone and start filming, just in case. She gets out of bed slowly, still groggy, and begins walking toward the corridor in her room. The house is dark and completely silent, except for her footsteps, until she suddenly stops. A strange noise echoes from further down the hall, followed by a couple of soft but unmistakable knocks, almost like someone was tapping on the wall. Brandy freezes, whispering under her breath, clearly realizing she hadn't imagined anything at all. The whispers that woke her up were just the beginning, and whatever made those knocks was still somewhere out there in her home. In the next part of the footage, things take an even stranger turn. Brandy was dog-sitting for a friend that morning and had brought her own dog over too, so there were two of them in the house. They had been playing only minutes earlier, totally calm, until something changed out of nowhere. Take a look. The black dog suddenly freezes in front of the hallway wall, staring at it with its fur raised, before letting out a low, warning growl. Within seconds, it starts barking aggressively at seemingly nothing non-stop, as if something on the other side was provoking it. The second dog, confused but clearly sensing something too, begins pacing around the room, sniffing the air and acting visibly unsettled. Brandy keeps filming, showing there's nothing on the wall, nothing in the corridor, nothing they could possibly be reacting to. But the switch in their behavior from playful to terrified was instant, almost like both dogs saw or heard something she didn't. Whatever had whispered to her earlier clearly wasn't done making itself known, and now even the animals were reacting to it. A few days later, Brandy posted once again when things escalated, and this time it's something physical she can't ignore. She explained she was about to start cooking later that same day when she walked into the kitchen and noticed something unusual on the front of her freezer door.
Okay, y'all, check this out. I was about to cook and I found this hand, or whatever you call this, on my icebox. Now look at my left hand compared to this thing right here. Look at that. It's not me. I don't have any kids. Just a dog, as you can see right here. Just a dog, and that's surely not his. So what the hell is this? And it's got four fingers. And look how small. What the hell is that? God, if anybody can tell me what this is, please let me know. Thank you.
There was a clear handprint smudged across the metal surface, oily and distinct enough to make out the shape of the fingers. Confused, she placed her own hand over it to compare the size, and it wasn't even close. The print was noticeably smaller, almost like it belonged to something with short, narrow fingers. Brandy doesn't have kids, and it was obviously nothing like her dog's paw shapes either. Some people in the comments tried to calm her down by saying it was probably a raccoon or some kind of animal pressing against the freezer, but the shape didn't match anything like that. And considering everything else that had happened, from the whispering, to the knocks, to the dogs reacting to something unseen, this felt way too connected to be a coincidence. Brandy admitted she's now seriously considering selling the property altogether, because whatever is in that house seems to be getting bolder every single day. The next clip looks like it was filmed on an older phone because the camera quality is really rough, but that almost makes what happens even creepier. The person recording is walking through what seems to be an empty building, opening and closing doors as they go, just to show that nobody else is inside. They push open the first door, glance inside, then shut it again before heading toward another one farther down the hallway. During the clip, they went on to open the second door and step into a completely empty room, their footsteps echoing off the walls. Inside that room is yet another door, this one slightly older and heavier. As they approach it, a sudden loud bang echoes through the entire complex, like something hit a wall or slammed something nearby. The camera jolts, but they keep filming and reach for the handle. When they open the door and quickly close it again, the door almost seems to resist for half a second, like something was pushing from the other side. And if you look closely, when they turn the camera around, a faint figure is standing in the far corner of the room they had just stepped into, barely visible but definitely there. Whatever it wasn't supposed to be in that building at all, and was certainly having an unwelcome stay. On the morning of the solar eclipse, the Lowry family decided to check their home's CCTV because they had been hearing odd noises around the house for the past few nights. What they found on the footage from earlier that day was far stranger than anything they were expecting. The camera shows one of the family members walking into their living room, just going about their morning like normal, when suddenly something shocking occurs. As they step fully into the room, the audio picks up something that immediately stands out. A faint, ghostly voice whispers from somewhere off-screen, asking, how did they find it? As if referring to something hidden or secret inside the home. The person on camera screams and sprints to his mother as fast as humanly possible, making things even more creepy. With the eclipse already creating a strange atmosphere, the timing of this only made the whole situation even more unsettling for the Lowrys, who had never captured anything like this before. In a follow-up video, Noni decided to talk directly to her viewers about what really happened in that CCTV clip, clearing up a few details people had been asking about. She explains that the person walking into the room that morning wasn't an adult at all, but her 11-year-old son. He had been innocently making noodles in the kitchen and ran upstairs afterward, completely unaware that anything strange had been captured behind him.
Hey TikTok, it's your girl Noni, and I'm here with the story time y'all requesting about our little ghost girlfriend. Okay, so yesterday, y'all know I posted a video of my son, who's 11, by the way, y'all, because I know a lot of people keep saying, like, oh, you can't be afraid, you can't feed off of it, you can't. He's 11. He doesn't understand, he doesn't know. This is his first encounter. This is, you know, something new and fresh to him, so he really doesn't understand. But I'm gonna try to do this quick and probably do a part 2, part 3 if I have to. He wants to tell his side also, so I'm gonna let him do his own little video on his own. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so he gets up around 7 a.m. every day, and he decided to make some noodles, which he told me that he was making for lunch to take to school. So he was in the kitchen making some noodles. He said that he heard a voice coming from the cabinets that said to him, "How did you find me?" Where he dropped his noodles, he ran upstairs, came busting in my room, jumping all over my bed, hiding in the corner, screaming and hollering, saying he didn't want to die. Somebody was in the house, somebody was in the house, telling me to get mine because somebody was in the house, somebody was in the house. And I'm like trying to tell him to calm down, be quiet, so I can hear what he's saying. Like, nobody's in the house. I kept telling him, nobody's in the house. Like, calm down. What is wrong? What happened? But like, he kept yelling. And I'm like, calm down. So then I call my dad. And I'm like, Dad, man saying somebody in the house. He won't get out of my room so that I can get them out the closet so I could figure stuff out. And he would not move.
Noni goes on to say that when he reached the top of the stairs, he actually asked her to get the gun, claiming he heard someone whispering in the house. Hearing her son say that shook her badly because he had no idea about the voice the CCTV recorded. He reacted purely to what he experienced in the moment. That unexpected fear from an 11-year-old made the whole incident feel far more real and believable to her, confirming that whatever whispered during the eclipse wasn't just a glitch or background noise. A few days later, the Lowry's CCTV captured something else that only made the situation feel even more unsettling. This time, the same 11-year-old boy is downstairs with his older brother, and he's visibly upset. He keeps telling his brother not to leave him alone, clinging to him while wiping his eyes.
Do not leave me, please. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, please. I'll do anything.
The footage shows the older brother trying to reassure him, but before he can even finish speaking, the younger boy suddenly jerks his head toward the hallway, as if he heard something again. Without warning, he sprints off toward the stairs in full panic, leaving his brother stunned. Whatever he heard wasn't picked up clearly on the camera, but the way he reacted made one thing obvious. Whatever whispered to him the morning of the eclipse didn't just stop with that one incident. For those new to the channel, Jefferson works the night shift at one of the most notoriously haunted hotels in the area. In previous footage, we saw strange activity in the kitchen and lobby that couldn't be explained. In this new clip, the action picks up in the hotel kitchen once again.
And here goes the finale.
The CCTV shows the kitchen quiet at first, with nothing moving. Then, without any contact, several items on the counter start shaking violently, rattling plates and utensils. One of the objects suddenly launches itself off the counter, bouncing across the floor with a loud clatter. There's no one in the kitchen, no staff nearby, and nothing that could have caused the movement. Jefferson later confirmed that the counter was completely clear when he arrived for his shift. Whatever was responsible clearly hasn't slowed down, and this footage only adds to the growing list of unexplainable events at the hotel. A man's wife had just left for work, leaving him home alone for the day. At first, everything seemed normal. He enjoyed the quiet, scrolled on his phone, and went about his morning without a second thought. But after a few hours, the atmosphere shifted, and something happened that shook him to the core.
Alright. I just want to let you guys know, like, I'm home alone. There's nobody here. Whoa, whoa, okay.
From the bathroom door came a series of knocks, clear and deliberate. He grabbed his camera and began filming, his voice uneasy as he explained the situation to the audience. To test it, he knocked 3 times back against the door. What followed stunned him. The exact same 3 knocks echoed back from the other side. Gathering what little courage he had, he slowly opened the door and stepped inside, only to find nothing at all. The bathroom was empty, silent and still, yet the feeling that he wasn't alone lingered heavily in the air. Dean was working his usual night shift as a security guard at the mall, a job that often left him with long stretches of silence and empty hallways. He never minded the quiet until strange things began to happen after dark. At first, it was small things such as distant creaks and the sound of something faintly tapping, but soon the noises grew harder to ignore. Determined to prove he wasn't imagining it, Dean pulled out his phone and began recording.
Let them know where I'm at. Dude, like, I'm so on edge now. So freaking on edge. It's creepy, man. You're so freaking creepy. I don't know. Dude, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the heck? These freaking chairs just moved. What the Okay. I'm done. Nope.
The footage starts with him walking through a corridor when a loud dragging sound echoes nearby, the unmistakable noise of something heavy like a table being pulled across the floor. He quickly pans around, but nothing looks out of place. Just as he tries to calm himself, a chair in front of him suddenly slides forward. Then again, moving twice on its own with no one near it, Dean's breathing grows heavier, and the fear takes over. Without waiting to see what might happen next, he bolts from the area, his footsteps pounding as the clip ends. A ghost hunter with a very small subscriber count decided to explore an old castle said to hold dark history, hoping to capture something that would finally prove to his audience that the stories were real. From the very start of his recording, the tension was there from the sheer atmosphere of the place.
First of all, watch the outside window. There seemed to be a face peering in. But watch as I turn the camera, there's a figure by the wall.
In that very first pan, a faint face could be seen in one of the windows, almost too uncanny to be human. The clip then cuts to another pan from a different angle, and again, another faint figure could be seen inside the castle, as if it was watching him move around the grounds. The hunter was frightened at the time. Fortunately though, he pressed on, determined to keep filming. This isn't the end of his investigation, and the story inside the castle is only just beginning, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the continuation of this story in one of my next videos. Kokoko, a channel known for exploring eerie, abandoned places, recently uploaded footage from an abandoned hotel that had been empty for several years. The building itself was in total disarray, with debris scattered across the floors and walls crumbling from neglect.
開けたり足音だったりなんかどかしたり普通に誰かとバッティングしてる可能性はあるんで、
まあバッティングだったらまだいいけど、
もしちょっと出くわしたらこんにちはって感じで
笑顔で。
ガラスとかめちゃめちゃあるんで。うわどうなってんですか。迷路だな本当に。入り組んでますよ、長年手つかずだったところが去年の秋に解体が始まって、去年の2018年の秋頃に、違う6月か6月に始まって去年の2018年の秋頃に、でそれがピタッと止まった、ピタッと止まっちゃったんだよね。これから8階に帰ります。屋上か。屋上か。
As the group made their way toward the rooftop on the 8th floor, the camera happened to catch something unsettling. In the frame, a shadowy figure could be seen standing in a doorway, though none of the explorers noticed it in the moment. It was only after the video was uploaded that viewers began pointing it out, confirming that the figure had been captured on film. The team didn't react at the time, but the discovery has left everyone shaken since. This moment is just one part of the investigation, and I promise that this video is going to be revisited and covered more in future uploads on my channel. Octavio was home alone when her dogs suddenly started barking non-stop, their attention fixed on something downstairs. Curious and a little uneasy, she went to check and was stunned to see a pair of red gates she kept inside her home moving in a mysterious way on their own. Wanting proof, she set her camera up on a table and caught the unsettling moment on video. The gates swung back and forth without anyone near them, leaving no explanation for the movement. Octavio admitted afterward that the experience left her shaken, and now she's looking for a ghost hunter to help get rid of whatever is haunting her home. I wish them all of the luck I can possibly give on banishing the spirit, because nobody deserves to live with something like that. Ragalzu has appeared before on this channel when he returned to the school he once attended and caught terrifying proof that it was haunted. But this clip that I am about to expose your eyes to is different, because it didn't happen at the school, but it actually happened in his own home. After leaving that place behind, Ragalzu always feared the ghost might have followed him, and one night he decided to record in his bedroom just to be sure.
¿Qué quieren que vea? No, miedo no tengo. Siguen aquí. Siguen aquí. Me acaban de abrir el carro.
The footage shows his wardrobe door creaking open at a decent pace, even though he was alone in the room. Just seconds later, the bedroom door slams shut violently, as if something wanted him trapped inside. Finally, an object falls on its own, and then a shadow can be seen peeking out from behind his chair. For anyone who doubts what he caught before, this video adds a chilling layer, proving that the haunting may have followed him home. Ragalzu's story didn't end with his bedroom doors moving on their own though. Just a few nights later, while he was asleep, strange noises woke him up again, and this time, they were way more mysterious. At first, he tried to ignore them, but they grew louder until he decided to get out of bed and investigate.
¿Cuál es esta habitación? Sí. ¿Macumba dijeron? ¿Puedes volver a cerrar la puerta? Se desenfocó la cámara. Ya estoy aquí adentro. Ahí. Mira. Salgan. No, déjame cambiar la cámara, quiero ver aquí. La vez pasada se vio una cara detrás mío, quiero ver si vuelve a aparecer. Tómalo. Uy, acá donde. Miren ahí. Ahí está.
As he left his room, one of the nearby doors suddenly slammed shut with no one else around. He cautiously pushed it open and stepped inside. But once he was deep in the room, the door closed behind him on its own, trapping him for a moment. Eventually, he plucked up the courage to approach the door to leave, shaken and unsure what he had just experienced. The footage ends there, and with no further updates since then, it's clear this may not be the end of Ragalzu's haunting. Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has spent years traveling to some of the creepiest abandoned places across the Midwest, sharing his solo investigations with those brave enough to follow his adventures. In this continuation of his exploration of the old abandoned theatre, Ian found himself lingering near the main staircase after a series of strange encounters earlier in the night.
Okay, I'm hearing weird noises up there. It sounds like there's somebody up there. What the hell was that? God, guys, it literally sounds like she's coming down these stairs. I smell perfume. What the heck? I smell perfume. And it's starting to feel colder in here, too. Ma'am, you don't have to be shy. Feel free to come down and talk to me. Madam, what's your name? Oh my God. I heard that. That was a lady's voice. Thank you, ma'am. I heard you loud and clear.
As he stood there, he began to hear odd noises coming from upstairs, so he raised his camera and snapped a few pictures into the dark. That's when the atmosphere shifted. Disembodied footsteps echoed, coming down the stairs toward him, though nobody was visible. The air grew noticeably colder, and a faint scent of perfume surrounded him, as if someone had just walked past. Then, clear as day, a woman's voice whispered the name Mabel. The theatre's history is full of mysteries, but Ian had never encountered anything this direct before. This specific clip ended there, but Ian was rattled, however, still determined to press on. Subscribe, because this story is far from finished, and Ian's next video will continue to uncover what haunts this theatre. Elderly woman decided to film a short Q&A at home after viewers in her previous videos suggested there might be something wrong with her house. Sitting comfortably in her chair, she answered questions as someone behind the camera read them out loud. It all seemed harmless, with her voice being calm, the tone light-hearted, but the atmosphere in the room said otherwise.
Like there's things that are flying off the shelves and things.
I saw it once. Yeah, I saw it once.
Alright, we're going one more. This is from a lady called Miss Butterfly Lady. The ghosts are pissed off with the clutter in your house. So she's saying your house is very messy. Can you explain why your house is messy?
I'm waiting to go out to see to the new year, and the house is messy because Nathan, who is my young son, he would
grandson.
Help clear it up.
Grandson. I'm your grandson then.
My grandson, I mean.
Yeah, so you wouldn't help clear it up. Alright then. So there was one more question. A lady said, there's a lot of booze in your house. You know the bottles you got over there? She said, can you explain why you got so many bottles?
Well, I don't drink it myself. So I collect them when somebody gives me some more, win it in a raffle.
How old did you say they are though?
How old were they?
Yeah, how old would you say all those bottles are?
Well, I don't know. It seemed to be a lot there. But I've got rid of some of it.
Oh, they're quite old though, aren't they?
Yeah, very old.
So yeah, we got 100,000 views. We got now 368 3,600 followers, subscribers. Can you say any final words to the people, the 120,000 people that saw the video last year on this exact day, as it's today is the 31st of December 2019, and tomorrow will be New Year's Eve. Tomorrow will be New Year's Day. So it's exactly a year ago it happened today. So we're doing an anniversary. So can you go?
I think it's all a load of bullshit.
Alright then. Alright, you got anything else to say to the people before we go?
Just what I said. What I said. I didn't mean to swear, but...
You don't like the internet and Wi-Fi and YouTube?
No, I don't get on with anything like that.
In the background, a string of Christmas lights began flickering at odd intervals, not like a loose connection, but in an uneven rhythm that drew attention once viewers noticed. Near those lights sat a small Santa ornament, perfectly still for most of the video, until the final moments. Towards where the clip ends, the Santa's arm twitches slightly, and several times, just enough to be noticed if you're really watching. The woman didn't seem to realize what was happening behind her, smiling and wrapping things up as the recording cut. But commenters were quick to point it out, with many saying they'd seen the same small movements in her past videos too. Whether it was a trick of the light or something else moving on its own, it left people uneasy, especially knowing she still lives there completely alone. The clip begins with someone quietly zooming in down a dimly lit hallway outside their bedroom door. Everything looks still at first, the camera steady, the only sound being faint breathing. But hanging on the wall, halfway down the corridor, is a guitar, and it's moving.
It's fucking moving. Look, it's my hand.
At first, it swings lightly, almost like it's reacting to air movement, but the longer the camera lingers, the more it shifts. The swinging grows wider, faster, until the sways are indistinguishable. Then, without warning, the motion turns violent. The body of the guitar starts hitting the wall repeatedly, the banging echoing through the hallway. The person filming doesn't move, too stunned to speak, just letting the recording run as the instrument keeps slamming back and forth like it's being pulled by something unseen. Eventually, the noise stops as suddenly as it began, the guitar coming to rest against the wall again. There was no explanation, no reaction, just the quiet aftermath of something that clearly shouldn't have been able to move at all. A man had just been woken up by loud banging somewhere in his house and decided to start filming to catch what was going on. The video begins with him sitting up in bed, the camera shaking slightly as he listens. The strange noises continue, muffled but close, almost like they're coming from inside the walls themselves. He hesitates for a moment, then gets up, his footsteps quite against the floor. When he opens his bedroom door, it creaks loudly, the sound echoing through the still house. Breathing heavily, he steps into the corridor, following the noises to a small room on the other side of the wall they seem to come from. The hallway light flickers as he switches it on, throwing uneven shadows across the floor. He pauses outside the door, hand trembling on the handle, before finally pulling it open. Inside, the room is almost completely dark except for the faint glow from the hallway. But in that light, something can be seen sitting on the floor. It's a jester figure, fake but unsettling. Its painted smile catching just enough light to look real. It sits perfectly still, propped against the sofa, facing the wall. The man doesn't speak, just stands there breathing hard, the camera locked on it. The clip ends shortly after, time-stamped at just before midnight. Perhaps the jester had something to do with the noises. The next part of the story came not from the man himself, but from his basement CCTV camera. He had completely forgotten that he'd left the jester figure sitting exactly how it was the night before. But early the next evening, around the same time, he received a motion alert on his phone from that camera. Curious and a little uneasy, he opened the live feed to check. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. He saw just the same dark basement with the jester still sitting there against the wall. But as the footage played, faint shadows began to shift around beside it, moving like someone was pacing slowly just out of frame. The shadows flickered and stretched, but there was no visible person causing them. The motion sensor light didn't react either, as if whatever was moving wasn't physically there. He watched in silence, barely breathing, as one of the shadows seemed to lean closer to the jester, then vanish completely. The camera stayed recording for another few seconds before going still again. Nobody entered, nobody left, yet the shadows had clearly been there. It left him wondering if the noises that woke him the night before hadn't come from inside the walls after all, but from something that was still sharing his home, and now watching from below. A few nights later, more CCTV footage surfaced from the same basement, only this time, things looked different. The jester, which had been left untouched since the last recording, was no longer sitting in the same way. Instead of facing straight ahead, its head was now tilted sharply downward, chin almost resting on its chest. The man swore he hadn't moved it. Nobody had even gone down there. The camera kept recording in silence, the jester's shadow stretching long across the floor. Then, without warning, the feed jolted violently. The camera shook once, as if something had brushed against it, before toppling from its stand and hitting the floor. The screen turned sideways, showing only the irrelevant parts of the basement. There was no sign of movement, no one entering or leaving the frame, yet the fall was sudden and deliberate. Later that night, the man posted an update saying he'd been watching the footage live when it happened, and the moment the camera dropped, the lights upstairs flickered too. He hasn't been back into the basement since. Instead, he's been in contact with local buyers, hoping to sell the house entirely. He says he doesn't even care about losing money, he just wants to leave before whatever's in that basement decides to come upstairs. CCTV footage taken late one night shows a long, dimly lit hallway stretching deep into the building. At first, it seems completely empty, with just the faint hum of the overhead lights and the quiet static of the camera feed. But then, a pale white figure begins to take shape at the far end.
That's pretty good. How can we do that?
This looks like she's floating, Bob. You got it?
Oh God, that gives me the creeps.
Yep.
It doesn't walk or move like a person. Rather, it floats, gliding slowly forward with no sound, no footsteps, and no shadow beneath it. The figure drifts toward the corner before turning and disappearing completely from view. Seconds later, the feed cuts to another camera inside a nearby room. The same floating shape is now there, before it glides out again. When the security team reviewed the footage, they were reportedly terrified. None of the motion sensors in that area had triggered, and there were no signs of forced entry. Whatever it was, it moved freely through locked doors and cameras, as if the walls themselves didn't exist. It was a quiet evening in the house with nothing moving, and more importantly, no one home. This piece only lasted until the kitchen camera caught something unexpected. The room sat still for several minutes before, without warning, two cupboards pulled themselves wide open at the exact same time. They didn't inch open slowly like from air pressure. They jolted outward abruptly, stopping halfway as if pulled by invisible hands. Just as the cupboard stopped moving, the entire house alarm began blaring. The sudden noise echoed through the footage, the sound ringing as if someone had triggered a sensor or forced entry. But there was nobody there. The doors were still locked, the windows closed, and the motion system hadn't detected a single living thing. By the time the homeowners returned, the alarm had reset itself, and everything in the kitchen was back in place, except the cupboards still hanging open, almost like a reminder that whatever caused it didn't plan on leaving quietly. Two girls were on a late-night road trip, laughing and singing along to music as their car cruised down an empty stretch of highway. The air was quiet outside, their headlights cutting through the fog that hung low across the road. This was the route locals called the Haunted Highway, known for the woman in white said to appear walking along it at night. They joked about it earlier, not really believing the stories, but that was not for long.
I want to know why she's so fancy. I think I see her. Do you actually? Unless that's just a light post, but it looks like something white over there. Oh yeah. No, you guys, we're getting haunted. That's no. She turned. Or wait, did she? She's walking yet.
As they turned a corner, one of them suddenly alerted the others that they saw her. The other looked up just in time to catch a glimpse of a faint figure ahead, dressed all in white, standing near the side of the road. Her posture was strange as she moved. The girl driving sped up, panicking, and the figure disappeared from sight as they passed. They looked back, hearts pounding, but the road was empty again. No car, no person, just the echo of tires on pavement. Whether it was someone real or the spirit people warned about, neither of them spoke for the rest of the drive. Two sisters had set up a quiet game of chess in the living room, planning to spend the next hour or so laughing and competing against each other. The house was calm, there were no windows open, and nothing felt out of place. But halfway through the match, something caught their attention.
Lleva mucho rato en eso. Déjeme, yo grabo mi hija porque... ¿Jessy está venteando o esto está echado acá?
No, todo está echado.
Ay.
Vamos a mí.
No, parce, no.
Behind one of them, a set of dangling ornaments began to sway and shake on their own, despite there being no draft in the room. At first, they tried to brush it off, but just as the atmosphere grew tense, a small table scraped forward with a loud noise, sliding slightly in their direction. Both froze in place, eyes wide, when suddenly the kitchen drawer in the background began to open on its own. Before they could even react, an entire cupboard burst open and a handful of pots and pans clattered violently to the floor. That was enough. The sisters abandoned the chess game and ran out of the room in fear. Neither had ever experienced anything like it before, and it left them shaken about staying in the house at all. This incident came from a security team monitoring CCTV in a car park late at night. Their job tended to be very boring, but little did they know that this one was going to be spiced up a little. Have a look.
See the white thing over there? Yeah.
In the clip, a red Jeep was parked quietly among the other vehicles, when, without warning, the driver's side door creaked open on its own. No one entered or exited, and the surrounding area was completely empty. The security guards watching the feed were stunned, unable to explain how it could happen when the car park was locked down and quiet. After a long pause, the door slowly shut again, closing firmly, as if someone had pulled it from the inside. Later, it was revealed that the Jeep was home to the death of a cat. While the guards didn't know this at the time, some who have seen the clip believe the strange activity might have been more than just a mechanical fault, and possibly the spirit of the animal making one last return. It was a stormy night, the kind where the wind itself seemed alive, howling so aggressively it bled into the entire recording. A man decided to explore a haunted house, one that had gained a reputation in the area for strange noises and shadowy figures. He walked through the hallways that looked like the back rooms, but at first, nothing out of the ordinary happened. The only sound was the wind whistling through broken windows, rattling everything in its path. After a while, though, a piercing noise echoed through the building that sounded like a siren, the kind installed years ago to detect movement inside. That was the moment his nerves started to shift. Later, when he reviewed his footage, the most chilling detail became clear. As he pointed his camera towards a far corner, a shadow figure leaned out briefly, as if to watch him, before slipping back out of sight. He was very fortunate he left the place after the alarm went off, or who knows what could have happened. Antonio had been home alone that night when he decided to head downstairs, his phone in hand. As he reached for the switch, the lights refused to turn on, leaving only the dim glow of his camera to cut through the darkness. He kept walking cautiously until he reached the dining room, where the table sat still and untouched. That's when it happened.
Tengo mucho miedo. Me quedé solo en la casa. Me han pasado cosas desde que vi ese maldito video. Escucho cosas. No hay luz. No sé qué hacer. Escucho muchas cosas. Ay, Dios, tengo miedo. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Quién está ahí? ¿Qué pedo?
One of the dining chairs scraped against the floor, pulling itself back slowly but deliberately, as if someone had pulled it. The sound echoed through the house, and Antonio froze in place, his breathing sharp and unsteady. The clip cuts shortly after, leaving viewers unsettled and speculating. If the chair could move with such force, what else might have been lurking in that house waiting for him? Who knows how much worse it might have gotten once the camera stopped recording. Dana had been on edge for weeks, convinced that something was off in her apartment. That night, she set her phone up while doing her makeup, determined to document what had been unsettling her.
Bueno, me puse a grabar porque estoy escuchando cosas. Entonces... el rímel. Me manché un poco. Uy, quedaron súper bonitas. Abajo también. No entiendo por qué. Mejor me hago rápido y yo me voy. Es que chicos, yo estoy sola. Voy a ir a ver. Voy a ir a ver. Sí, la verdad no sé por qué es así, pero bueno, voy a acabarme de hacer rápido, pero el pelo.
ya como que me voy así peinada porque la perdí, no sé.
As she brushed her hair back, the bangs and creaks she'd grown used to suddenly grew louder and more erratic, echoing through her place as if something invisible was pacing the walls. Just as she was about to laugh it off, she started to have a nosebleed, sending a wave of panic through her. She grabbed a tissue, went to the door, opening it to the dimly lit corridor outside. Nobody was there. The hall was empty and silent. Relieved but unnerved, she went back to do her makeup, only to see the lock on her front door start moving on its own accord. She opened it, revealing nothing but an empty hall once again. She is seriously considering moving out. Two police officers in Nayarit were on late-night patrol when they were dispatched to an elementary school after reports of strange disturbances in the area. It was 3 a.m., the streets silent, and the building was very dark from inside the gates. They parked their unit out front, one of them filming while they scanned the grounds for anything suspicious.
No manches, mira lo que estamos viendo nosotros ahorita a las 3 de la mañana.
For a brief moment, two small figures could be seen moving inside the school before quickly darting away, as though they knew they were being watched. To the officers, it appeared like children, but given the hour, the locked gates, and the emptiness of the grounds, that explanation didn't make sense. The figures were never identified, and both men later admitted they didn't believe they were dealing with real kids at all. Many believe what they saw were restless spirits, lingering within the walls of the school long after closing time. The following night, or more accurately at 2 o'clock in the morning on September 16th, the same officers returned to the elementary school, still unsettled by what they had seen the night before. This time, instead of staying in the safety of their patrol car, one of them stepped out into the cool night air and walked straight to the school's front gates.
Dale, güey, dale, vámonos. Buenas noches, señores. Aquí estamos grabando un videíto, otro video para todas las personas que dicen que quieren segunda parte del otro video. ¿Qué les podemos decir? Nosotros no afirmamos lo que se vio en el video, pero tampoco decimos que es falso, ¿verdad? Ahorita le vamos a mostrar la escuela por fuera, porque por dentro pues no pudimos ingresar todavía, ¿verdad? Son casi las 2 de la mañana. Esta es la escuela de aquí de Nayarit. Sí se ve el video, para que no empiecen a decir que vale madre la calidad del video, ¿verdad? Esta es la escuela. Ahorita le vamos a mostrar la puerta donde se miraron lo que se miró. No quiero decir qué es lo que se miró. Es esta. Esta es la puerta. Ya está una lona que no sé qué quiere decir. Vamos a bajar. Ay, cabrón, la chingue. Ese es el cancel, ¿verdad? Esta es la escuela por dentro. Son los salones. Vamos a darle la vuelta caminando, ¿verdad? Aquí está otra ventana. Esta es la escuela 16 de septiembre de aquí de Nayarit, Jala, Nayarit. Vamos a darle una vuelta a la escuela. Por esta escuela, señores, nos ha tocado escuchar muchas cosas en una cancha que está allá al fondo. Allá al fondo está una cancha. Ahí donde seguido escuchamos que el balón, pues más que nada, a esta hora, que andan jugando fútbol, básquetbol, y pues realmente no, pues no es nada, ¿verdad? Pronto estaremos adentro ya que nos den chance a las autoridades para poder meternos, ¿verdad? ¿Qué le podemos decir, señores? No, yo no quiero que me crean de lo que se vio, ¿verdad? Nosotros tomamos unas fotos a las escuelas y es lo que se vio en su momento. No es cámara profesional para que no empiecen a decir que no se ve nada, pero pues ahí les dejo este video para que ustedes mismos chequen, saquen sus conclusiones, vean qué puede ser. Pues así que aquí por afuera pues no se puede ver mucho, ¿verdad? Pero pronto andaremos por dentro. Este fue aquí el zaguán, ¿verdad? Ahí nos guachamos para la próxima, señores. Ahí estamos, pendientones. Y para los que no creen, pues nada más no crean, pero pues tampoco insulten, ¿verdad? Porque pues ninguna mordida le pedimos a las personitas esas. ¿Cómo crees que la vamos a andar pidiendo mordida? Saludos, señores.
His flashlight swept over the empty yard beyond, the silence almost suffocating. No movement, no sign of anyone inside. Wanting a better look, he circled part of the perimeter until he came to a section of wall with barred windows, large enough to peer through. He pressed his face close to the cold metal with his phone camera on the other side, but again, nothing happened. The officer filming explained to viewers that, as officers, they would eventually be allowed to enter the school officially, but not yet. For now, all they could do was watch from the outside, waiting for the chance to investigate what truly hides within the grounds of the school. Ian, better known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has spent countless nights exploring the eeriest places across the country, and this abandoned theater has already given him plenty of reasons to return.
I heard you loud and clear. It literally came from up here, and it echoed. Oh my God, that perfume smell is getting stronger up here. Hello? Oh, holy shit! Oh my God! Dude! I just fucking saw her right there! It looked like a woman in a dress. She walked into the hallway. I gotta follow her. She went down this way. Oh my God, every hair on my body is standing on end. Where'd you go? I saw you go this way. feel like I heard her say Mabel. It sounded like an M. Now that I think about it, that voice from earlier, it sounded like Mabel. I'm smelling that perfume smell again. Holy shit! Holy shit! No freaking way! Look at that! That thing just came undone! I'm at a loss for words. She just peeked around at me from this curtain.
He slowly makes his way up the grand staircase. He mentions quietly that he just heard a voice echo above him, and as he climbs higher, he pauses, sniffing the air. There's a sudden, strong scent of perfume, completely out of place in such a decayed building. For a moment, nothing happened, but then a figure he described as a woman in what looked like a dress stepped into the hallway ahead, completely silent. Ian bolted forward, his voice rising as he asked where it went. He turned a corner, his light catching the theater's old dressing rooms, and just as he reached one, the curtain across the far wall pulled itself back with no one touching it. Ian froze in fear. Subscribe if you want to see what happens next, because Ian's not done with this haunted theater. Kokoko, the Japanese explorer we've covered before on this channel, is back again with another terrifying adventure. This time they visited the Shinshukanko Hotel, and it definitely had the viewers talking. The hotel has long been whispered about as one of the most haunted spots in the region, and KOKOKO's exploration proves why.
言ったよね。
なんかありました？
いや、見えない。何今の音？何今の音？
翔ちゃんたちの音ではない。
ないよね。ちょっとこっちなんだろう。わかんないな。暗くてわかんない。
As he and his friend moved through the decayed rooms, the silence was shattered by what sounded unmistakably like a baby crying somewhere deep in the building. At first, they brushed it off and continued exploring, but when they entered another room, the sound came again, except this time it was much louder, sharper, and far more prominent. None of them could explain it, and the unease that you could feel through the screen made it clear they weren't expecting it. The mystery of the crying only adds to the disturbing history of this hotel, and the story is far from over. This investigation will continue in a future video on my channel. The Chilling Floor, a channel we've looked at before, uploaded yet another spine-chilling investigation in the exact same creepy castle as last time, based in the UK. The video shows the man behind the camera heading towards the staircase and standing at the top of them, when suddenly, noises start echoing from the lower floors.
We're doing a ghost hunt from a haunted castle. We're in a haunted castle. It is proper creepy. Oh, who's that? Did you hear that noise? Down here, I swear to God. Is there someone there with us?
Come this way.
Honestly, I heard banging down here. I swear to God. We're in a haunted castle and it's proper freaky. I just heard some banging from down here.
Standing at the top of the stairs, the man begins by asking the direct questions. Is someone there with us? Almost immediately after, heavy bangs could be heard below, loud enough to shake the confidence out of the cameraman. Bravely, he descended to check, but once he reached the bottom, the space was completely empty. No one was there with no explanation for it. Alexis had been relaxing at home when he suddenly heard the front door rattling with heavy knocks, loud enough to make him jump. At first, he thought it must have been a delivery, or maybe a prank, but the noise was so persistent that he finally grabbed his camera and walked over. When he opened the door, the driveway stretched out in front of him completely empty, nothing even remotely out of place. He shrugged it off, clearly unsettled, but with no answers. But the real twist came from his wife. After the clip cuts, she revealed a photo she had taken inside the house at nearly the same moment. In the picture, a womanly figure could be seen, standing right where Alexis had been looking. The strange part was that he hadn't seen anyone at all. It was as if the figure could only be visible from inside the house through the glass. The couple were left with more questions than answers, wondering why only one of them seemed able to see what was there. Two friends were hanging out late at night, sharing drinks and laughs while one of them recorded the other singing and dancing around the room. The mood was light-hearted, nothing out of the ordinary, until something completely unexpected happened.
You're fucked. What? What? What are you doing? Did you not hear that? No. Are you sure? I can hear that. Cindy.
As the camera focused on the woman dancing, the large mirror behind her suddenly shook on its own. The drunk woman froze mid-performance, her face instantly shifting from joy to fear. Without warning, she bolted back to the bed, clearly startled by whatever she thought she had just seen. The person behind the camera, a little confused and tipsy themselves, didn't notice anything unusual in the moment, but watching it back later raised an unsettling question. What could she have seen in the reflection that the camera and her friend didn't? Aria had checked into what was meant to be a quiet and uneventful stay at a hotel, but what she captured instead left viewers unsettled. The clip begins with her already in full panic, sprinting through long corridors while screaming for help.
Somebody help me! I'm feeling good! Help! Somebody help! Please! Somebody help me, please!
Her voice echoes through the empty halls, raw and distressed, as if she was being chased by something unseen. The sound of her desperate cries was what struck people the most, because it wasn't the type of scream someone fakes for attention. It was the sound of genuine fear. The footage cuts before we see what she was running from, leaving only questions. Was it another guest, something in her mind, or something far darker hiding in the hotel? Whatever the truth, this is just the start of Aria's terrifying experience. Not long after, another video surfaced, this one from hotel security footage.
Y'all, so here's video of that girl that posted, and I'm gonna let y'all know now, it gets really weird. It's like she acting like she's running from something or hiding from something, but there's literally nobody else in the frame. Like she tweaking.
Yeah, it is weird.
And the elevator door is not even closing. Like she playing hide and seek or something. But look, this ain't even the craziest thing. Like now the elevator, look, the elevator door is closed. This ain't even the craziest thing about this video though. I got like more video to show y'all, and it just gets super weird. So y'all just stay tuned.
It shows Aria from a different perspective, bolting down the same corridors while glancing over her shoulder again and again. What makes this footage unnerving is that she appears to be fleeing from absolutely nothing. No one is behind her, no shadow, no figure in sight. To anyone watching, she looks almost out of her mind, but the sheer terror in her movements makes it hard to believe she was imagining it. Even in the elevator, she was ducking behind corners. With both angles of footage now out there, the story only grows stranger, and there may be even more to uncover from this night. Not long after Aria's terrifying dash through the corridors, a new angle of the story emerged.
It's like all my stuff is just left here. It's crazy. You said what?
Don't get me on camera.
No, this is ridiculous. What the heck is this doing in here? Yo, hold on, y'all. Why the fuck is this in here? Hold this. Yo, y'all. This is crazy.
Oh my God. What? What?
At least you got some stuff you can take home.
This time, a hotel security guard entered one of the rooms with another staff member. The sight inside was shocking, with items scattered everywhere, and the place was in complete disarray, as if someone or something had torn through it. As they searched, they came across something even more unsettling: a hook that could be used to open other people's rooms. The discovery raised new questions. Was Aria running from a ghost, a person, or something else entirely? And if it was a person, why would they have access to something so dangerous inside the hotel itself? Nothing else was clarified, and the mystery only deepened. The last video in this chilling sequence came directly from the hotel's own security system.
Alright, y'all, so I went back and was looking at the video of that girl from the other day, right? Because I'm thinking maybe somebody must be following her, because I found that thing in the bathroom. Like, you know, it makes sense that somebody's probably following her, because not just any person is going to have that tool. I mean, that tool is for getting inside of rooms. So just keep watching the screen right here, man. I saw something that just, because I'm thinking somebody's following her.
Watch, let me fast forward. Watch this.
That's just the housekeeper down there. Right there. Right there.
I don't know what that was.
This is crazy. How do y'all explain that? Somebody explain that to me. And y'all think that's crazy? Keep watching like right by that door right there, by that table. Keep watching right over by there. Whole time I'm thinking somebody following her. So we trying to go over the film and just keep watching. Look. My hand is shaking. Right there.
What is that?
What the heck? Bro, that's a rock from that table right there. Those are stones and those in bowls right there by that table. And that one of them stones just fell on the floor.
And there's no way that should happen because there's no wind in there.
Wind ain't even gonna do that though. This is crazy, yo.
I don't know.
Somebody explain this to me. Please somebody explain to me what the hell that just was.
As the guard reviewed the footage, he noticed something no one had pointed out before. Just moments after Aria bolted down the corridor screaming, a shadow streaked along the wall, right behind her. There was no person present, and nothing nearby that could have cast it, making it impossible to dismiss. The evidence only grew stronger when, later in the same footage, a rock sitting in a decorative bowl on a nearby table suddenly launched to the floor. With both events caught on camera, the conclusion seemed undeniable. Whatever Aria was fleeing from that night, a ghost was following her. Ethan had woken up suddenly in the middle of the night to the sound of footsteps moving around outside his bedroom. At first, he thought it was just his imagination, but when they didn't stop, he grabbed his phone and started filming in complete darkness to prove what he was hearing. This is what he captured.
Oh my god, guys. I don't know what the f going on. I just woke the up. There's like footsteps. Listen to this shit, can y'all hear it? What? Oh hell no, what the fuck was that, dog? Hold up. Alright, yo, I gotta check this shit out. What the hell? Nobody out here. Nobody out here, what the f? I gotta go get my mom. Oh, what the?
The video is almost pitch black, with only faint outlines visible, but the sound is unmistakable with slow, deliberate footsteps echoing just beyond his door. Then, something drops outside the room, a small clatter that makes Ethan jolt. He quickly turns the light on and steps out into the front yard, filming as he looks around. Nobody's there. The entire place is now empty and silent. Still recording, he turns back toward his room, clearly shaken. But as he walks in, the camera catches something horrifying. For a brief second, a completely blacked out face peeks around the edge of the doorway, watching him, before instantly pulling back out of sight. Ethan gasps, the phone shakes, and the clip ends there. It's one of those moments where even though the light is on, the darkness feels closer than ever. After hearing strange noises coming from his garage late at night, a man decided to grab his phone and start recording to see if he could figure out what was going on. The moment he walked in, something immediately seemed off. The attic door above was hanging open, even though he was certain it had been closed earlier that evening. Instinctively, he began to record.
Holy shit. What the? I heard a noise, and I came out here, and this door was open, and now it just shut by itself. Christ. There's nobody up here.
He points the camera up toward it, filming in silence for a few seconds before the attic door suddenly slams shut on its own. A loud thud echoes through the garage, followed by the unmistakable sound of scuttling footsteps moving across the ceiling, as if something, or someone, was scurrying around up there. Gathering his nerves, he slowly pulls the string to open it again. The light flickers on, casting a pale glow into the attic above. He climbs up the ladder, still filming, expecting to find an animal, or maybe even an intruder. But when he reaches the top, there's nothing. No movement, no sound, just an empty attic filled with dust and boxes. Whatever had just shut the door and ran across the ceiling had vanished without a trace. After the video started gaining attention online, some viewers decided to take a closer look at the footage from the attic scene. What they discovered made the entire situation far more unsettling. One fan brightened the video frame by frame to see if anything had been hiding in the shadows, and what appeared was chilling. Take a look.
What the hell is this shit? I did not see it. I had no freaking idea until y'all started screenshotting the shit. But I took the video and I brightened it up. So if you want to see it, here it is. I got this light on because the last time, I think it was when the freaking motion detected, I turned the freaking light on when after I went up there and looked. That's what some people were asking, why the light was on when the attic door rattled. That was why. And yeah, I know some of y'all are disappointed because I didn't have the freaking camera pointed right at the door. But the reason why I put the camera in the attic was because y'all said y'all saw something saw like a person up there, so I pointed the camera into the attic. You know what I mean? I didn't know that the door was gonna freaking rattle. I can't see the future, and I don't have a time machine to go back and point it at the freaking attic door. And people are saying, no, get a second camera. Okay, maybe I will. I don't know. But like, y'all need to chill. Who gives a about the damn door, man? There's a freaking shadow figure, ghost, whatever, in my attic.
On the far side of the attic, partially obscured by the dim lighting, a faint human-like figure can be seen standing perfectly still. Its body is dark and hazy, almost blending into the background, but the outline is unmistakable, and it looks like a person watching him from across the room. The man never reacted to it in real time, meaning he had no idea it was even there while filming. Many who've analyzed the footage believe it wasn't a person at all, but rather a full-bodied apparition caught by pure accident. Whatever was in that attic with him wasn't just making noise, but it was standing right there the entire time, ready to frighten its victim. Leandro had been hearing strange knocking sounds coming from one of the rooms in his house, so he decided to start recording to figure out what was causing it. The camera captures him, standing in the hallway, staring at the door as the knocking continues. What happens next is simply unexplainable, so have a watch.
Me acaban de cerrar la puerta en la cara, pero no llegué a grabarlo. Se escucha la puerta del baño. Se me acaban de reír en la cara. Mostrate. Yo ya no te tengo miedo, ¿vale? Reíte. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde carajo estás? ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Mostrate acá. Dale.
After a few seconds, the door suddenly creaks open on its own, the sound slow and eerie as it swings inward. Leandro steps closer. He cautiously walks inside, only for another door in the same room to also close with no visible force applied, followed by what sounds like a faint giggle, which is high-pitched and childlike. He freezes for a moment before opening that door, revealing a small, private bathroom. The shower curtain inside is gently swaying, moving as if someone had just brushed past it. Heart pounding, he walks over and yanks the curtain back, but there's no one there. When he turns around, the camera catches something even stranger. His large teddy bear sitting on the bed, its head now tilted downward as if watching him. In a follow-up post, Leandro explained that he believes the teddy was the source of the haunting and has since sold it, hoping whatever was attached to it left with it. Emily was out on a late-night food delivery shift when she came across something that left her completely shaken. She was delivering an order to a quiet suburban home, the kind of place that looked totally normal from the outside. Little did she know how much the interior contested this.
Hello? Hello? I have your DoorDash order. Can you put it on the stool, please? I'm not really supposed to come into houses. It's just inside the door. It doesn't really matter how far it is. I'm not supposed to. Please? It would make it easier for me. It's just kind of, can't you just come to the door? It's just kind of a safety hazard for me to come in the house. No, I can't come to the door. Can you put it on the stool? It's easy, it's just inside. I'll just leave it here. I'm not allowed to come inside, and I will not come inside. Come on, you fucking bitch, it's not hard. Yeah, no.
She sets the bag down by the front door and steps back to take a photo for proof of delivery when the door suddenly opens on its own. Confused, Emily calls out a polite hello, and to her shock, a voice from inside calmly replies with a hello back. She explains she has a DoorDash order for the homeowner, but the voice interrupts, telling her to put it on the stool just inside the doorway. Emily hesitates and refuses, saying she can't enter the house. The unseen woman insists again, her tone growing sharper, saying it makes it easier for her. Emily nervously repeats that she can't, but the voice suddenly snaps, calling her names and saying it's not that hard. At that point, Emily quickly places the bag down on the doorstep and hurries away from the house, visibly shaken. Later, she said that when she checked the app, the customer had already marked the order as delivered, yet no one was ever seen in the doorway. Comment what you think this mystery was caused by. In this next clip, a group of 3 friends, including someone named Kuma, were exploring their office late at night, which they believed to be haunted, when something strange started happening on camera. They were casually walking down the stairs, talking quietly, when one of them noticed something floating in front of them, and it was very weird.
It all started when we talked about paranormal beings. We decided to follow it.
Here. Bear, explain this, man.
Bro, it just turned a fucking corner.
Miss you forever too, and it came out of nowhere.
It then started to follow us after we cut it off.
The entire time,
I'm gonna need that video from you.
Looking at the stop coming over here. Literally looking at the ceiling. I was staring at the ceiling the whole time because it's a cool ceiling.
Like, because it's got the orb, the whole.
Yeah, it's got the. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Let it do its thing.
Let it do its thing.
Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it do its th
I just need going from a 2-shower to 1 shower.
Whoa. You guys see the force on that?
Yeah, you know, it's fucking troll.
At first, it looked like dust, or maybe a piece of fabric caught in the air, but as they kept filming, it became clear this wasn't moving naturally at all. The faint shape began to drift upward, slowly twisting and floating in circles as if it had a mind of its own. There was no wind source anywhere, with no open windows, no fans, nothing that could have caused that kind of motion. The three friends watched in stunned silence before deciding to follow it further down the stairs, hoping to figure out what it was. Whatever it was seemed almost aware of them, changing direction just slightly each time they got close. This was only the beginning of what they caught that night, making it an easy setup for what's coming next. After following the strange floating shape for several minutes, the group eventually lost sight of it somewhere near the lower floor of the building. They started to think maybe it had drifted out of view, or that the moment was over, until something even weirder happened.
Are you gonna come join us, or are you gonna go downstairs? Bro, watch there be like some little kid or something back here. I'm gonna fucking flip my shit.
As Kuma panned the camera toward the barrier that led downstairs, a new white wisp suddenly appeared, gliding across the far end of the room with a smooth, eerie motion. It wasn't fast or random, and it moved like it was deliberately crossing their path. The group fell silent again, realizing whatever they were seeing wasn't just a trick of the light. Then, as Kuma turned the camera back toward the staircase, the same balloon they had been following earlier was now floating upward again, slowly rising toward them from below. It was as if it had come back on its own, perfectly timed with the other apparition's movement. What started as simple curiosity had turned into something much more unsettling that none of them could explain. For anyone new here, this is Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter, who's been exploring what's known as one of the most paranormally active sites he's ever visited, the abandoned factory. In this video, filmed at the same location as his previous investigations on this channel, Ian is exploring to see what his camera can capture. Little did he know it would be something so bizarre.
Looks like on the inside, you can still see like all the different remnants from when this place was just a factory. It's like a factory of horrors. Whoa. Oh my God. I heard a noise over there, and of course, it's got to be nearby all the scary mannequins. Oh God. Looks like our congregation over there. Like a cult gathering. Did someone just make a noise over here? I swear to God, I just heard you. Man, if one of these frickin' things moves, I'm done. I'm out of here. Oh wow, they even got Wizard of Oz theme over there. If there's anyone over here, could you? What the hell was that? It sounded like something moved over here. Did you just move one of these mannequins? Could you move one right now? Any one of these. No. Oh. Dude! That thing just freaking started rocking! Oh, no.
As he walks through the dark, echoing hallways, he describes the place as a factory of horrors, the kind of building that feels wrong the moment you step inside. Eventually, he enters one of the strangest rooms yet, a large space filled with mannequins standing in rows, like some kind of forgotten display or a prop cult frozen in time. The camera captures the unsettling silence as Ian scans the room, when suddenly a loud metallic clang breaks through from somewhere nearby. He jumps slightly, turning toward the noise, but nothing moves. Then, faint scuttling sounds begin, like something shifting just out of sight between the mannequins. Ian steadies the camera, calling out to whatever might be there, even asking it to move one of them if it can hear him. A few seconds pass before one of the mannequins starts rocking gently, as if something had brushed against it. Ian whispers in disbelief, realizing this wasn't the wind or vibrations, it was a direct response. Subscribe if you want to see what happens when he comes back to the channel for the next part of this terrifying investigation. The following video begins with the camera shaking slightly, the person behind it clearly nervous. A young woman is filming inside her bathroom after noticing something strange. The toilet paper roll swaying on its own, and the blinds shifting as if a breeze was pushing through, even though the window is closed.
I don't remember fucking opening that. What the fuck is that? Okay. Oh shit. What the fuck is that? What is that? Why? That's on the outside. What honestly is that? What honestly is that? I gotta use my... What the fuck is... It's on the outside! It's on the outside! I'm scared. I'm terrified. I'm hard. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Once she starts to record, she moves closer, her breathing quick, whispering to herself as she reaches for the blinds to check behind them. There's nothing there, just an empty window. She turns the camera back toward the window, and that's when it happens. 3 distinct finger marks suddenly drag themselves across the surface, leaving behind white scratch-like streaks, as if something unseen had swiped at it. The sound is faint, but sharp, enough to make her jump back. She slams the blinds shut, muttering nervously before quickly walking out of the bathroom. The clip ends abruptly, the camera still trembling, and whatever made those marks remains completely unseen. Ellen had been home alone that night when the knocking started. At first, it was faint, but then it grew louder, more desperate, like someone begging to be let inside. The camera shakes slightly in his hands as he walks through the dimly lit hallway toward the front door, his voice trembling as he whispers that he's scared.
Pensé que ya lo había visto todo, pero... Oh my God. Pero... esto es lo que está sucediendo en estos momentos. Sonidos y gritos extraños. Y ahora la puerta. Como pueden ver, estoy completamente solo. No sé a qué me estoy enfrentando, pero tengo mucho miedo, mucho miedo. Vamos a ver qué es lo que podemos captar. No No sé si ustedes logran ver algo o logran ver a ver qué o quién está haciendo estos ruidos, ese llanto. Son las 4:45 de la madrugada y no, nada más esto me faltaba. No manches.
The knocking continues in sharp bursts until he finally reaches for the lock and hesitantly opens the door. For a moment, there's only silence, and then soft crying can be heard from outside. The sound is faint but heart-wrenching, echoing through the empty street. Ellen freezes, then quickly shuts the door again, locking it tightly and backing away. He tries to calm his breathing as he walks off, clearly in a state of distress and nerves. But before he can reach his room, a low, eerie whistling begins from behind the door, slow and deliberate, as if whoever or whatever was out there knew he was listening. The clip cuts there, ending with Ellen running toward his room in pure panic. Sophie had been feeling uneasy all day after hearing strange noises in her room, the kind that made her question if someone else was there. To calm down, she stepped outside with a ball, kicking it gently across the yard while trying not to look back at the house. The camera follows her as she walks further away, her tone light but nervous. She must have been starting to feel better at least.
I'm like really paranoid right now. Ew, it smells weird in my mouth. Oh, that just went. Hello? I'm like, hell no, I'm out. I'm done. That's it. I'm out. No.
About a minute and 16 seconds into the recording, a faint whisper can be heard calling her name. The most frightening part is that it isn't just any voice, it's her own, perfectly matching her tone and pitch, but coming from behind her near the house. She freezes instantly, the ball rolling to a stop beside her foot. The whisper repeats, softer this time, almost teasing. Without hesitating, Sophie sprints back toward the house, the camera shaking wildly as she fumbles for the door. She rushes inside, slams it shut, and locks it, her breathing heavy. Who knows if she truly escaped whatever this was that night, but what we do know is she is too frightened to inform her parents. Late one night, Wyatt was sitting on his bed when his dog suddenly started barking toward the window. At first, he thought it was just another animal outside, but the dog's behavior quickly turned strange. It wasn't looking out the window. It was staring just beside it, inside the room.
It has been freaking me out for about 15 minutes. I know, dude. What's going on? What are you seeing? And something's been spooking him. He's jumping around, This dude. What are you seeing? Why don't you back up? Charlie. I know. Calm down. It's okay. What are you seeing? You're freaking me out, buddy. Do we need to go? Should we go, Bubba? You tell me when it's time to go. Because I don't know what you're looking at, but when we need to go, you let me know, buddy. What's freaking you out, bub? Okay. Should we go? Yeah? You leave when we gotta go. As soon as you walk out, I'll be right behind you.
Wyatt aimed the camera in that direction, but nothing could be seen. The dog, however, wouldn't stop growling, its fur raised and tail tucked low, letting out uneasy whines between low rumbles. Wyatt tried to calm it, gently saying it was okay, but the dog's focus stayed fixed on something above eye level, as if whatever it saw was tall and standing against the wall. The tension builds until Wyatt nervously asks his dog if it wants to go. That's when it happens. A faint, unmistakable male voice answers softly from the direction of the window. It says, yes, but in a tone that's quiet and almost playful. Wyatt doesn't actually realize the ghost replies, whilst the dog slowly backs away, still growling at the empty space. The clip ends there, leaving the voice unexplained. A woman had started filming after hearing footsteps echoing faintly through her house late at night. Her voice is quiet, unsure, as she moves from room to room, trying to figure out where the sounds are coming from. She eventually stops outside the bathroom with an evident suspicion that it may be involved with the haunting. The air feels heavy, and for a few seconds, everything goes still. She steps inside the bathroom, looking around with the camera pointed toward the mirror and shower, but nothing seems out of place. Then, just as she's about to turn the camera off, something subtle happens. Exactly 1 minute into the video, a clear shadow passed across the railings of the stairs ahead of her, and it was moving smoothly as if someone had just walked by. The woman didn't notice it at the moment, but when she reviewed the footage later, that shadow confirmed what she'd feared all along. She hadn't been alone in the house that night. Misty had decided to post a follow-up video after her previous paranormal clip gained a lot of attention. In this one, she slowed the footage down to show what really happened. It was from her baby cam facing the crib where her youngest was sleeping, while her older son's bunk bed was left vacant due to him being at football practice.
Hey y'all, I see all of your comments coming through. I had no idea that this video was going to blow up like it did, so I have not been able to respond to everybody. A lot of you had said that the video was too fast for you to see anything, so I'll include it on here with it slowed down. I still have no idea what happened or what that was. I left the house today. My son had a football game and my mother-in-law was here. She lost internet for like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. That was really the only weird thing that happened while I was gone for her. And that's all I have. It was a 4-second video. As soon as I saw that object appear on the top of the bunk bed, I just threw my phone and camera and I just went running up there. So I just really didn't get much longer of a video than that. I will see how tonight goes and see what we need to do further, if it's nothing or if it ends up being something. So have a good night.
For a few seconds, everything looks peaceful until a strange shadow-like object suddenly pops out from the side of the bunk. It moves quickly, almost like it's crawling or leaning forward, before vanishing just as fast as it appeared. Misty immediately ran upstairs when she first saw it live, convinced something was in the room, but when she got there, nothing was out of place. No one else was upstairs, and her baby was sound asleep. Thankfully, the baby was completely fine, but the slowed-down footage made it impossible to ignore that something unexplainable had definitely appeared beside the crib. After the slowed-down footage went viral, a lot of people in the comments wanted to know more about the room itself, so Misty decided to vlog the entire space to clear things up. She started by explaining that the baby had been moved into this room recently from what was now her home office. From the start of the video, she admits she always feels uneasy there, saying it's hard to even breathe when she walks inside. Take a look at what happens when she plucks up the courage to enter, though.
Okay, a lot of y'all were asking about the room situation, so I'm gonna run that through real quick. We moved my daughter from this room into this room. She got new furniture. That's why the bunk bed is still in there. Then we moved the baby from my office, which used to be her bedroom, now it's my office again, up into this room. So this is the attic that's in between the rooms that I was talking about that's cracked. It's been that way for a while, so it's not something that I'm overly concerned about, but y'all have got me freaking out in the comments. I cannot even breathe walking in this room, so I am truly terrified, but I'm gonna walk y'all in here real quick. This is the bunk bed. This is where I took her out of her crib, ran up the bunk bed. There was nothing up there when I came. We have her rocking chair, her changing station, her closet with all of the stuff that we still need to put up. This is where I have everything that was gifted. I know a lot of y'all were saying check stuff that came from a thrift store or that wasn't yours, because it might be causing it. I will show you guys up here. There's nothing suspicious. There's no hair from like a rat or something that could have came in. This is marker. These are still tucked in on the sides, like they're still tight from, you know, if somebody was trying to be underneath the blankets. I don't think that's plausible, so I don't know. I have no idea what could be causing it. Oh my God, it's rocking.
She turns the light on and shows that nothing seems unusual at first. The crib sits quietly in the corner, and she points up to the top bunk to prove there's nothing up there either. Everything appears normal, but as she's talking, something subtle shifts in the background. The small chair next to the bed begins to rock gently on its own. Misty freezes, the camera shaking slightly as she realizes what's happening. The chair keeps moving, slow but deliberate, as if someone invisible had just stood up from it. The clip cuts off as she lets out a loud scream and starts her escape from the room, ending the video abruptly. In the next video, Misty is sitting in the living room doing her daughter's hair, trying to get back to normal after everything that had happened. She's chatting softly to her, laughing here and there, and for the first few seconds, everything feels calm.
Mom,
how'd you sleep last night?
Good, but Avery woke up a lot last night.
Well, you slept with me. How would you have heard her wake up? She slept all night.
There was music playing from her room. You guys were like laughing.
Are you sure you weren't dreaming?
I don't think I was dreaming. I got like no sleep.
Sorry, baby.
Oh, it's Brandon. Hi, Brandon.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning.
You already awake?
Yeah.
How was your night?
Sissy said that Avery kept her up all night because she said she heard her like laughing and playing and music going in her room.
Didn't you have her in the room last night in her room?
Yeah, I had Avery last night.
Yeah, you have some take dreams or?
That's what I said.
I'm just gonna call, make sure you're awake and getting ready. I love you. I'll call you later, okay?
Love you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Then, around 11 seconds in, a faint voice can be heard over the background noise. It's quiet, but clear enough to make out. It says, "Hey." Misty doesn't seem to notice it right away, but viewers caught it instantly and flooded the comments asking who else was in the room. She later confirmed that it was just her and her daughter home at the time. No one else had been in the house, and the voice hadn't come from the TV or her phone. After hearing it back herself, Misty admitted she's now looking into how to sell the house altogether, saying she can't shake the feeling that whatever was in there isn't finished with them yet. Ever since he was young, Marcus had been fascinated with the underground. He loved the stillness, the echoes, and the sense of mystery that came with exploring places most people would never see. Over the years, he had taken up caving as a hobby, often bringing his loyal dog along for company. On this particular day, he decided to explore a cave system he hadn't visited before, curious to see what secrets it might hold. With only his headlamp and his dog's eager excitement to guide the way, they ventured deep inside.
Out. Come here. Come on. Come on. Go. Misty. What do you think about this, Misty? Keep looking. Stay behind me. What the fuck is that?
Come on, mister. Come on, mister.
The footage shows them carefully making their way through narrow passages until they eventually reach a dead end, where dozens of bats hang above, prompting Marcus to turn around. After walking back for only a short time, the beam of his light catches something ahead, a tall, human-like figure standing in the darkness. It was far too unnatural in movement and presence to be anything ordinary. Without a second thought, Marcus grabs his dog and bolts for the exit, the sound of his hurried footsteps echoing through the cave as they escape into daylight. Even now, he says he can't explain what he saw, and maybe he doesn't want to. Dre and his friend had been hanging out one evening when a series of strange noises started coming from the attic. At first, they brushed it off, thinking it might just be the wind or an old house creaking, but the sounds kept happening, louder each time. After a bit of debating, they decided to check it out for themselves. Climbing up into the dim attic, they were hit with an instant feeling of unease, like they were being watched. The air felt heavier, and both of them agreed it didn't feel right.
Alright, wait a minute, I gotta turn this thing on here. Recorder's on.
Alright, we got the cripple.
Yeah, I'm the cripple. I'm the EVP director.
The EVP specialist. And, let me see if I can do this. Got myself, Dre. And we're up here because we heard some noises earlier. And we're trying to figure out if we can catch a little bit more. Or try to piss this thing off enough to let us know that it's here.
I heard you up here last night. Make a noise. I kept on hearing stuff in the back of the attic on the back there on the right, like it was something hiding back there. I got it on the recorder, like all these little bangs and scratching noises. And just for the record, there's no wildlife up here. What's your name? Stop hiding and show yourself.
Give us a sign. What the hell was that?
Did you see something?
We just got something on video.
What was it?
Oh my gosh, what was that? Hang on, we gotta stop this.
What did it look like?
In the footage, the camera pans across the far end of the attic just in time to catch a sudden movement in the shadows. Nobody else was in the house, and no one could have been hiding there without them seeing. The encounter left them certain they had just come face to face with a ghost. Mykolenko is one of those rare ghost hunters whose reputation speaks for itself. Known for his sharp instincts, unshakable composure, and years of experience investigating some of the most infamous haunted locations, he's built a name for himself as the guy who gets results. Clients trust him because he doesn't just chase shadows, he documents them with undeniable clarity. So when he was offered $500 to prove a paranormal presence in a suburban home that had been giving its owners sleepless nights, he didn't hesitate. In the footage, Mykolenko is standing well across the room, far from the old wooden cabinet in question. Without warning, the cabinet begins to shake violently, sending several objects crashing to the floor. The angle is perfect, clear, steady, and without any sign of wires or tampering. The homeowners were convinced on the spot, and true to his word, Mykolenko delivered the proof and walked away with the full $500 in hand. If you want more investigations like this, make sure to subscribe. Mykolenko will be appearing in future videos, and you don't want to miss what he uncovers next. A man was relaxing in his bedroom late at night when a sudden aggressive rattling of a nearby door jolted him upright. At first, he thought it might be the wind, or maybe someone else in the house, but the sound was too intense and frantic to be either. Grabbing his camera, he stepped cautiously out of bed, his breathing already quickening as he edged closer to the source. The footage shows him standing right next to the door as the handle shakes violently on its own. Without warning, the door swings open and then closes again, all while the handle continues to tremble as if being gripped by invisible hands. His loud, panicked breathing fills the audio, making the moment even more unsettling. After the incident, he admitted he didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, he began researching and reaching out to local paranormal hunters, determined to bring in someone experienced who could explain or confront whatever was in his home. Valentina was at the hospital late one evening, sitting in the hallway while her father was being treated. She had no idea that at this exact point in time, her father had already passed away. She was scrolling through her phone, trying to distract herself from the stress, when something caught her attention out of the corner of her eye.
No. Ay, no puede ser. No, mira. Es una fantasma acá, loco. No te puedo creer, la puta madre. Ay, no, lo que le parió. No.
The wheelchair her father regularly used began to roll forward completely on its own, moving smoothly across the corridor without anyone near it. Valentina froze, her fear mixing with confusion as she stared at the empty seat. Later, a nurse informed her that her father's heart had stopped just 2 minutes before the wheelchair had moved. The timing left her shaken, wondering if this was her father's way of saying goodbye. Marcos had just returned home from a long shift at work and was winding down for the night, watching TV in her room. It was quiet, the kind of stillness that usually meant nothing out of the ordinary would happen. But then she heard it, a distinct thud from just outside her bedroom door, like something heavy had fallen. At first, she thought she imagined it, but the sound was too real to ignore. Curious and a little uneasy, she grabbed her phone and started recording before going to check.
Dios.
She slowly opened her bedroom door and immediately spotted an object lying on the floor in the hallway, something that definitely hadn't been there before. As she processed what she was seeing, a chair further down the hall suddenly slid across the floor directly toward her, stopping just a few feet away. Marcos backed up quickly, her breathing picking up as fear set in. Later, she admitted she didn't sleep in her room that night, and was now considering having a paranormal investigator come to see what she might be dealing with. Fabian was sitting in his room watching TV when he heard the familiar sound of his dad's car pulling into the driveway. He quickly turned his head toward the window, trying to catch a glimpse of him arriving. While Fabian's attention was fixed outside, the doll on his bed shifted suddenly, moving in a way that was far from natural. Fabian had no idea. He only turned back a moment later and hurried out of the room to greet his dad. Later, his mum reviewed the security footage from his room and was left stunned by what she saw. The doll had been perfectly still before, and there was no one near it when it moved. The unsettling discovery has her seriously considering moving out before whatever caused it decides to do more.